Yes, I'm Sophia Wanuna. Monday the 6th of October it is. It is now 8:36 a.m. and joining me in studio is George Mwololo, a man with an inspirational story. He is a fine artist. He'll explain to us what that is about, and also the executive director of Geo Creative Designs. Thank you very much for joining us, George.
Thank you.
It's good to meet you. So fine art, what is that about?
Fine art, it's more about creativity. It's about putting creative ideas, be it on canvas or on wall or on paper, whereby you just use artistic aptitude to create beautiful things.
Okay. Yeah. So it's about coming up, you usually will sit and come up with beautiful ideas and then put them on paper.
Precisely. It's all about aesthetic outlook, trying to replicate either what's in reality, or trying to bring out what is in my imagination, my subconscious mind.
Yeah. What inspires that? When you're sitting down, when you're putting together a piece, is it you look at something and be like, wow, that's beautiful?
I'm guided by a lot of things, experience, day-to-day life. It could be a concept or an idea that I love, or that somebody wants that captured for him or for her.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this for?
Since 2003. Yeah.
Was it always a passion of yours, or what got you to start then?
Actually, when I was in high school, in Form 1, I never used to draw a lot. Most of my friends used to do that. I took fine art. I took art and design in high school. Then, when we went to Form 2, and people were supposed to pick the subject that people are supposed to now proceed on with them, Form 3 and Form 4, most of my classmates, they all dropped it, so I was the art student. So I had to kind of like learn how to do everything on my own.
Yeah.
And I kind of like found out that art was really interesting. It's kind of like an adventure.
Yeah.
Sometimes it surprises you. You get a pencil and a paper, you get a canvas and brushes, and you create something that you are just amazed.
Yeah, it's amazing how that there's like this endless, potential, there's endless room to just discover all this amazing stuff when it comes to art. So you draw or paint what?
Anything. For me, having furthered the course at the university level, it opened my eyes in the ways that I could apply most of the artistic movement and artistic styles. I could do realism, I could do expressionism.
What is realism? What is in reality, I imagine?
Okay, realism, it's a branch, or it's a movement, an art movement, whereby you paint or you draw things the way they appear in reality. Like if I was to do a painting of you or a drawing of you,
which I wish you would.
Yeah, I would bring you how you look, how in this time and space that we occupy, how you appear, how everything. Expressionism on its own, now you bring out the emotions and the feelings. It's whereby you invoke the art admirer to kind of like think deeper. There are different artistic styles like abstract and all that, whereby the art admirer will be the one who will look at that picture, and he'll try to understand it or to internalize the message on his own, based on his own experience.
Okay, we've talked quite a bit about what you're doing now, and we'll get back to it. But it has not been an easy journey to get here. So you're a young child, 1993, 9 years old, going on about your business. The next thing, cancer. Talk to us about that.
It's one of those I could call defining moment that kind of like that changed the way I perceived life. At that time, I was about 9 years old. I was in primary class 3. Going to school, you know, back those days, schools used to be very far from home. So our parents would look for a school that's very far so that you'll be healthy going to and fro. Yeah, so one day as I was going to school, midway, I just felt this sharp pain. I kind of like collapsed. I think I blacked out for kind of like 30 minutes or an hour. It was so painful I couldn't even walk. So I was with my best friend. So he remained behind with me. The other students went to school, and they reported to school that had a problem somewhere, just laying down. The teachers came for me. Then my best friend was sent home to go get somebody from home so that at least they can get somebody to come take me to the hospital. I was taken to the hospital. We started with the clinic. We used to live in Githurai. They couldn't diagnose anything. I was taken to Nairobi Hospital.
And this time you were in pain?
Yes, I was in pain. I was. I think at that time, no, I was still young, but I could still remember. I think we couldn't get bed space. So we went to Kenyatta National Hospital. We still couldn't get bed space. So we were given an appointment to go on a given date. I think it was like 3 days later. So I was taken to another hospital, at least for that time, so that at least they could work something on the pain and all that. So I was later admitted to Kenyatta National Hospital. I underwent, I think, 3 operations, major operations.
So underwent operations for what? When you got there, before the operations, what did they say you were suffering from?
Actually, it was hard for them to figure it out at that time, because here I was in pain. When they were doing the x-rays, there was no fractures. When they tried to conduct, I think their own medical, I think there's how in the medical profession how they try to conduct those medical procedures to try to investigate and find out what this patient is ailing from. Yeah. So after I think the 3rd operation, I think they also did a biopsy.
So when they were operating, what were they operating?
Okay, they were trying to operate to figure out
what the problem is.
What the problem was.
So it's still part of the examination.
Yeah, it was still part of the examination.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the 3rd operation, they kind of like they discovered that I had bone cancer. At the time that they discovered it, it was an inch away to cross over the hip joint. So first of all, that was a miracle.
And if it had crossed over, that would have meant what? For those who may not understand. Okay.
See, like, if cancer has gone to the bones, if it crosses over to the main skeletal frame, it means that you cannot be amputated in the main skeletal frame. So at that, back in 1993, I don't think we had most of the technology. Even right now, we have technology, but we still have a lot of people who die from cancer. So at that time, if it would have crossed over, the doctor said that I think I would just have stayed on my deathbed.
It would have been a death sentence, just waiting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have reached my 13th birthday.
What?
Yeah, so it's a miracle in 2 levels. The first level is that it did not go to the bone marrow because it was on my left leg. If it could have gone to the bone marrow, we all know that's where the red blood cell and all that. Yeah, it would have turned into leukemia. So that was one of the miracles. The second miracle was at the time when it was discovered. Yeah.
Okay, so the decision to amputate, they definitely, I imagine, came to you, your parents were there. How hard was that decision? Were you involved in it?
Okay, what happened, as in, like, they explained this, they talked about it, but I couldn't, at that age, you know, like, being unwell and all that, I couldn't understand very well. Actually, because I'd gone through, I think, those 2 medical operations, what happened was that I was put under medication, I think, between 3 to 6 months, to stop the spread of the cancer, and also to give my body time to recover so that I can go for the amputation. Yeah, so it was a very tough time for me, because I kind of like spent the whole year 93 to 94 in hospital. What happened, I understood what the doctors were saying when I was coming from the theater. Yeah, that's when it hit me.
That's when it hit you. Amputation meant no leg.
Yeah, no leg. There was trying to figure out now, how am I going now to adjust into life.
Yeah, because we're used to playing around, running around.
I used to be very good in running. Yeah. I think I was the first among my peers. Wow. I used to play football at that time. So I was kind of like thinking now how life
was devastating.
Yeah, it was.
How did you adjust though? With your family, was there support there? Did you have to undergo counseling? How long did it take for you to feel, okay, you know what? There's still this life I have, and I'm still gonna live it?
I could say the first 4 months were very tough on me. I was still in shock. I used to undergo counseling, but still I think it had not yet sunk in. Yeah, then one day I kind of like sat down and thought about all these things, and there are some truths and there are some realities that as an individual you must tell yourself. I think for those people who have been through life-changing moments, really understand what that means. It reaches a point whereby no matter what everybody around you, yes, I have a great family, they supported me, but
you must have that internal conversation.
Yeah, it reaches a time whereby you yourself, you have to come into grips with the challenges, with that challenge that has beset you, and make a decision to move on. So for me, I think I was strong enough to kind of like make that decision, to accept the situation and move on. But that was not the big challenge. The big challenge was the society. That was the biggest challenge because
how so?
These perceptions, especially at that time, at least nowadays there's a lot of advocacy and all that, but at that time, the society, when you become physically challenged, used to categorize or to group you as somebody now
who's not able.
You are not able, you'll always be assisted and all that. So it was hard now for the society, for me to see the society having now accepted me and the challenge that beset me. But I took this initiative to kind of like do what I must do. If the society, and I think I still subscribe and I still believe to this philosophy that I do what I must do. If people choose to view it different, choose not to accept me, that's their problem, not my problem.
Not your problem.
Yeah.
So that stigma, you say, with the years has reduced. How society would perceive you, treat you, it's better now over the years?
I could say it's better now over the years, but it's about how I see things. It's about how I also react towards that. Because you see, if you pay too much attention and if you let people crowd your judgment, demoralize you, you won't go far. So for me, I took an initiative to just shut it off from my mind.
So with the amputation, the cancer is gone. You're cancer free.
Yes, the cancer is free. Actually, I'm so glad. It's free. It's gone. I went through radiotherapy at that time and all that. I went back to the hospital. I think it was like 2 years later, and I was declared cancer free.
Cancer free. And happy about that. So with the art, fine art, putting color into empty spaces is how you like to describe it. How has that journey been for you? How has it also helped you in viewing the world? And what are some of the challenges you've had to face as we bring this to an end?
It's usually like in Kenya, like one of my professors at the university used to say that Kenyans, we kind of like fish. We usually discover water when you're pulled out. There's a lot of art in Kenya, a lot of artists in Kenya, but we still find that there's that challenge of people coming to appreciate art. Technology, photography and all that, it's a bigger challenge, but there's joy, there's beauty, there's posterity when an artwork is done by hand.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing knowing that somebody invested his or her time, her soul, or his or her soul, her heart, in that artwork and brought out something very beautiful. So it's been a challenge.
So the appreciation, people are yet to get to that place where they appreciate art and will invest money, perhaps, to just buy a good piece. How much is the cheapest and most expensive? How much are they of your work?
Okay, I have different price packages, like for students and all that. So for my portrait drawings, the cheapest that I do is 8,000. Up to 70,000. So it depends also with who you are doing the work for. And also there are people who really, really appreciate art. I remember there was a client I did a portrait painting for. He had come from Europe and I sold it to him at 70,000.
Wow, amazing.
He told me somebody had done a similar work. It was not as good as mine, and he had paid 150 equivalent to Kenyan money. So
there are those who will pay an arm and a leg for that beautiful art.
Yes.
Where can people find it? Somebody watching and thinking, unfortunately we didn't manage to put up some of those pictures, but where can people see what it is you do?
Okay, I have some of my work are on my Facebook page.
Okay, which is?
Just George Mwololo.
George Mwololo, his Facebook page.
Yeah, my Facebook page. I also created a geocreative design page, whereby I have also some of my work there.
Okay.
I've created another page, George Mwololo, the artist, George Mwololo artist, but the ones that I'm doing with Churchill Show, but I'm yet to upload my artworks there. There are some artworks that I'm working on. I want to put them on that platform. Currently, I have an office at Strathmore University, 5th floor. I'm being incubated there.
Awesome.
At IBIS, iLab, for kind of like 6 months. I pitched my idea there and
they gave it to you.
Yeah.
So this is how you make your living, your fine art.
That's how I make my living for now. That's how I finance my law degree.
You're now taking law degree.
Yes.
At MKU.
At MKU.
Amazing.
In my third year.
Yeah. Beautiful. What do you tell finally young people watching you? Because many people everyone has challenges in their lives. Sometimes we focus too much on that and forget the bigger picture and just to stay focused on what's important. What do you say? Because despite that challenge, you've gone ahead to achieve your dreams. You're doing amazing stuff, still back to school, want to be a lawyer and selling art for say 70,000 bob. Amazing.
Two things. One for the parents. As in I know our education system. I'm a teacher by training. Our education system seems to be too crowded with the theory part, not the practical part. And the skill-based subjects and all that, most of them have been scrapped. But when you look at our equivalent, the academies and the international school, they really support talent, whether it's art, music, and all that, or sports. So I would encourage parents to kind of like give motivation, encourage their kids in the aspect of their talents.
Yeah.
It really pays. They may not end up in a profession, either doing art or that, but if they have that aptitude, it will assist them. Let me give you an example.
Very briefly.
Yeah, very briefly. Like for a designer or for an engineer, you need to bring out something that is both aesthetic in as much as it is functional.
Yes.
Now, for the upcoming or for the young people, just go for your talents, work on them, try to discover them out and perfect it, and try to mix education and your talent and let it be fun.
Okay. Yeah. George Mwololo, thank you so much. Fine artist with us in studio. What an inspirational story, and wish you the best. And if you want to see some of his work, George Mwololo on Facebook is his page. You can get him there. And that's why we're bringing the show to an end this morning. It's Cancer Awareness Month, and so later on from tomorrow and other Tuesdays where we focus on your health, we'll be tackling different types of cancer. So do stand by for that throughout the month. We'll have that for you. And thank you for your feedback throughout the show and the discussion earlier on the way it is. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day.